Hey, what's up, beautiful people? Welcome to my channel. I am the Spiritual Bodybuilder. Thank you for joining me. Today, I'm going to be talking about Mars's transit through Leo. So, for all intents and purposes for this video, I will be speaking as the Mars archetype and all it encompasses, which is basically divine masculine energy. It's very aggressive. It's very like, take charge, let's get shit done, act first, think later kind of thing. Mars rules Aries. So going into its brother or sister, whichever you want to call it, fire sign, Mars likes fire. Mars likes getting in there, and it rules the fifth house. Fifth house has to do with our inner child, our creativity, our athletic capacity. Being with children and connecting to our inner child. So this is an exciting transit because it's also going on during the Venus transit in Cancer and throughout the eclipse season. Okay, so Mars in the fifth house is like a bit of a sigh of relief because Mars didn't like the fourth house, like being in Cancer. It's debilitating in Cancer because here's Mars just wanting to charge ahead, like the athlete or the warrior, and it's being the warrior is running into emotions. And the warrior doesn't like emotions, just wasn't let's just handle that shit later. But it had to handle it going through, especially with the North Node there, identifying these deeper, vibrations of healing in order to bring out the healthier masculine, the healthier divine masculine, because it's been sort of ever since Mars went retrograde last year, we've really been purging a lot of this toxic masculinity, and it's really starting to show and come out with the rise of the divine feminine too. Of course, we have spillovers, we have feminists, and we have sexists, and we have this and that everywhere. But it is starting to even out, and Mars and Leo is going to be like a playful energy, and it's going to interact, nicely with Venus here throughout the transit, and they're going to be having semi-sex. So they like doing that, right? So be prepared for the energies, even if we're dealing with stuff, to be synergistic and being able to cope or process emotions and deal with problems, okay? So initially, this is from July 2nd to August 18th. Initially, Mars will be square Uranus during this transit. So right off the bat, we have, Uranus and Taurus, and we have Mars and Leo. I feel like they're fairly complementary energies, but with the square there, you could expect some unexpected things in regards to your home and family and children, with childhood wounds, because childhood wounds is that inner child. In order for us to be in alignment with our inner child, we have to face those wounds that we've been carrying around since whatever age was going on, and to overcome that and grow through it, right? So Mars will also be conjunct Mercury on July 2nd. And Mars and Mercury have sort of been like conjunct, like following each other here for like the last couple of weeks, and it will continue to, because then Mercury will go retrograde, so it'll make a second pass over there. This is becoming aware of our shit, becoming aware of our own bullshit, and it's still, this being right at the beginning of Leo, it's still on that Cancer cusp, so it's still going to be emotional, but it's good to bring it up and bring it out. This, especially in July with the eclipses, this is going to be a very emotional time. And with Mars being in Leo, feeling strong, we're going to feel strong in our emotional power. Okay, even if there's hardship going on, we're going to be strong in that hardship, and it's going to give us confidence, and it's going to give us strength to go forward. This is the strength card in the tarot deck, like the meaning of it to a T. Okay, Mars will be trining Chiron on July 3rd. Now, a trine to Chiron is a good aspect, but it's still going to be tough because, again, that's the divine masculine creeping into that vulnerability in our identity. And this is it could be a bit of an identity crisis, especially if you're not really in touch with your divine masculine. So with that Chiron energy, you know, coming up and coming out and going through, we really want to take the time to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And then once we feel and find that strength, that like, okay, I got it, I can go to the next thing. We take the next step, do that one at a time, okay? So then Mars will be sesquiquadrate to Jupiter on July 4th, and then sesquiquadrate to Neptune July 6th. Now, this is not, this will last a few weeks, okay? So it's basically happening at the same time. And then I believe a little bit later on, either sometime right around here, Venus is also going to be sesquiquadrate to Jupiter and Neptune. So we have the divine masculine and the divine feminine all having these conversations with Jupiter and with Neptune. And right now, Jupiter and Neptune are basically square for like the whole year. It comes exact in June, right around the full moon in Sagittarius. But we're still going to be feeling the energy. It's still that's a very deep and permeating energy. And that is really like our belief systems and dissolving old belief systems, right? Identifying what we really believe, where we really want to be, who we really are, and restructuring the emotional capacity for believing in ourselves, right? Now, the other direction that can go is we can just start, you know, like distracting ourselves with whatever distractions you want to use. It could be Netflix and chill. It could be drugs. It could be alcohol. It could be sex. It could be porn. It could be, you know, working, even working out. It all depends on your intention behind it. But if you're feeling a lot of pain and you're just like, oh, fuck, this is too much. I can't handle it. I don't want to feel this shit anymore. Then you're going to be likely to manipulate yourself into trying to just do something to not think about the pain for a little while. But the key is, when we feel that, is just to stop. Stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to even stop trying to feel it. Just let it be what it is. You have to just let go. And sometimes that can be tough, but usually in periods of time like this, especially around the eclipses, it doesn't matter how much you try to not let it go. It's going to let go whether you like it or not. So we might as well just be kind to ourselves about it, not beat ourselves up the whole time when we're going through it, because that beating ourselves up is half the fucking problem, right? So, and these are very karmic transits or aspects rather. So, you know, karmic lessons being learned, karmic debt being paid, karmic blessings coming in, you know, good and bad. All right, it just depends what's going on. We all have good and bad. We all are divine masculine, divine feminine. We're all, you know, shadow and light. There is no one without the other. The key is to find the balance and look at it and be okay with it. All right. So remember that, you know, like everybody has a dark side. Everybody has a hater. Everybody has enemies. Nobody out there is above reproach because we're all fucking human beings. Okay. And we all have a lesson that we're learning, and we all have something that we're going through to bring us to that next place that we want to be in our life. This is a very karmic time. So accept it and allow this toxicity to surface. In order for us to get rid of it, we have to let it surface. And when it surfaces, we have to feel it. And that feeling part sucks, but when it's done, woo! You let that shit go, dude. Oh my God, forget about it. All day long. It is so worth it. So that is the bottom line of what we're doing right now, is letting go of all this shit and cleansing the divine masculine with Mars. Okay? So let that stuff come in. Now, on July 7th, Mars will be opposed Lilith. Now, I like to pay attention to the Lilith energy because it's subtle, but it's distinct and it's powerful. It's potent, right? So this to me is like manipulation through frustration or irritation. Okay, so this is like when something is opposed, right? We're going to be learning it coming from outside, coming from relationships. So maybe in our relationships, we're going to identify some manipulation, identify somebody crossing the emotional boundary line, and Mars gets frustrated with it. Like, what the fuck, dude? Just figure it out, right? So you have to really focus when you get triggered on not letting that frustration take over and make you make decisions that you know are not optimal to make. Okay, take a step back and think and breathe before you instinctively react. We want to respond, not react. Okay, and that's going to be going on for a couple weeks here too. So, you know, self-deception, especially with that sesame quadrate to Neptune as well, because that represents escapism. All right, if we get frustrated and we're like, and then we just want to escape, we cannot feed into that impulse. And we know it's an impulse when it's emotional, when it's like heightened, and it's like that emotion is like driving us. We get that pit in our stomach, like, oh, fuck, I gotta do something. No, you gotta chill. You'll do something later, but for now, just take a step back and don't think about it. When you have a clearer head, you'll be able to figure it out much better. So take a step back. Think before you act. Then on July 16th, we have Mars trining Jupiter. Beautiful, beautiful energy. And, you know, Jupiter is starting to come towards the end of its retrograde. So basically all the information that we're absorbing or that we're processing again through that has to do with our belief systems, that's all like coming to a finalization point where finally we've processed all this information. Now we have our belief systems all strong and all figured out. Now we're going to go through it and start building on it from there. And that can be a very powerful match, because Mars is like, I got to go make shit happen. Like once we figure it out, like it starts to rev up. Okay, let's make shit happen. Let's get it done. Let's get it. Then Mars will inconjunct the South Node, Saturn, Pluto on July 23rd. Now, an inconjunct is another awkward, it's sort of like that, you know how like when you're walking by someone, or like say at the gym, right? And you're getting ready to check in and you see somebody walking by and you glance up, you know, to make eye contact, just to be friendly, okay? When the other person, like they have this really awkward sort of, they look up and then look away, like they're insecure, they're like, you know, please don't look at me. Or if you walk by like a couple and you make eye contact and then you make eye contact with her and then the guy makes eye contact with her, like see if she's checking you out, it's freaking ridiculous, right? It's that kind of awkward energy. And of course, that awkward energy is only going on when we have our stuff going on within ourselves that we're not facing and dealing with. So that's going to really bring that to the surface. So if you're having awkward interactions like that around this time, especially when it comes to life purpose, career, the structures in your life, you know, how you make money, then that's something that you're going to want to take a look at. And when it comes up, this is a great opportunity to let it go. And, you know, letting it go is going to have to come through, again, more really solid awareness of the self, of our own consciousness. Okay. And that, again, takes stepping back, slowing the F down. So it'll also be, Mars will be semi-sextile to the North Node on July 28th. So Mars having semi-sex with the North Node, that's basically our soul's journey. So Mars is going to have sex with our soul's journey, or dry hump it. This is a good sign, because this is going to give us an infusion of motivation for a future. Like, yeah, all right, something's going to happen around this time where we're just going to get a screaming like, fuck yes, we're going in the right direction, right? It's like we need some points, and this is showing us that, hey, we got 5 points. Let's go. I'm stoked. So the end of July, and this is going to be right after the eclipses too. So this is when, you know, like these karmic blessings from all the hard work that we've been doing is going to start to come around and really show itself. And yeah, it's going to make us start to feel like a kid again. And that's really what this is trying to teach us, how to really be a kid again in our optimal loving form, right? With strong emotional boundaries and understanding just having a good moral and ethical compass when it comes to everything, and not staying victim to the victim mentality, or the sabotaging mentality, or the wounded mentality. And that whole wounded thing is a whole. I'm going to make a whole separate video about that, because there's a nation of wounded warriors out there, and of course I myself have been one too. And doing the work, working through it, using astrology to do that, I have learned so much about myself and about these different archetypes that live within us, and you can overcome them. Many people are right now, but we need guidance and we need support and we need to be brutally fucking honest with ourselves, right? So that'll be coming soon. But anyways, July 31st, we're going to have the new moon at 8 degrees Leo, and that's going to be trine Jupiter. So new moon in Leo, that's going to be happening right near Mars. So that's going to be, you know, Mars and the sun, Mars and the new moon, that's new beginnings. New beginnings that are represented by the 5th house. That fiery, like, let's go get it. That maybe you want to start like a new workout regimen, or maybe you want to start eating healthier. You're going to be motivated to do these things. Like, you're going to feel good. You're going to have energy to put forward, right? And trine Jupiter, I mean, God, that's belief systems. I believe I can do it. I'm going to make this change. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to take this step in this direction. I'm going to become more wealthy. I'm going to become more lovable. I'm going to become happier in my relationship. I'm going to do this, that, all these different things. This is going to be like an infusion of, yeah, let's get it. An infusion of let's get it. That's what I'm talking about. All right. And then August 11th, we have Mars sesquiquadrate Saturn. This is a deep karmic lesson. This is sort of like, okay, coming up to Saturn. Saturn is like customs, right? It's like the checkpoint. So it's like, all right, do you have all your papers? Are you moving forward the right way? Is the structure actually productive? Is it going to shake it? Is it going to fall down? No? Okay, you can go. If it does shake and it does fall apart, you're going to have to deal with that shit and go back and take the test again, right? So that, right around that time, that's going to really show us and give us an opportunity to see what's still not solid within us. And of course, it's going to come up, and then we got to face it and, you know, just take it one step, one day at a time. That's it. You know, Saturn is that like pain in the ass teacher that always rides your ass, but then at the end of the class, like, you know, you come back like, why are you so hard on me? It's like, well, look at how much you learned. Look at how much you had to learn because I did push you. Or a personal trainer pushing you, you know, past your limits. You don't know your limits. I know your limits. So I'm going to push you to what I know you can do. And eventually you're going to start to see what you can do, and you're going to evolve. But, you know, sometimes you need that help, that get up, and Saturn is that checkpoint. And with the sesquiquadrate, that's, you know, tension, and, you know, also has to do with past life. So past life lessons, there's so many layers of past life lessons just being dissolved and processed. We're a nation of like the phoenix rising from the ashes. So good for you for doing all this work. I'm really proud of you. Then on August 15th, we have a full moon at 22 degrees of Aquarius. And that's going to be 3 days before the end of the Mars transit. So, you know, I mean, this is amazing. Endings to the way we deal with others, but the Mars energy in relationship to that is honoring ourselves. For it's sort of like, what I see is like a lot of people on social media, like they'll post something, and then if they don't get a certain amount of likes, they freak out. They need to get other people to like it, and they're like, oh, what the fuck, nobody's listening to me. That shit ain't gonna matter. Like, who cares? That's the end of that. All right? We're learning to love ourselves again, and as we learn to love ourselves again, it's bringing a whole new perspective and awareness to like what we deserve. And like, who gives a fuck about that shit, dude? Like, we don't need it. All right? So a lot of lessons, a lot of blessings, a lot of motivation and like energy to rev up to get to that new place. You know, so take it one day at a time. You know, there's a lot going on right now. We are in Triggertown, USA. We are in the fate train. We are moving into this next level. And the Mars transit, especially here, is the divine masculine aspect of us moving to integrate deeper with the divine feminine and come into our highest and best self for this next chapter of our lives that's coming up here. All right. So if you like this video and you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you would like a private reading from me, you can go to trinityfitnessastrology.com. I greatly appreciate it. I'm so grateful for all you guys that are subscribing and liking, you know, bringing out this information, this knowledge, this wisdom to the world is my passion. And I can't thank you guys enough for, you know, having my back. Much love to y'all. Peace.